natural bridge. So I'm going to show you what this looks like when it's crazy raining like this. So here we go. Ready to come? And you have to like to go outside in the rain too. It's kind of fun because you get to see cool stuff like this. Check this out. It's really, really strong, so I'm definitely not going down in it, but it's so cool. Alright, here it is from down below. That's right under.
The book of Genesis begins with this. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, it's not like it's saying, but nothing in between.
When that Genesis was written, who was taking notes?
Right?
Where did those notes come from?
And
Who was that note keeper?
Exactly.
And why are there 4 different
Yes.
creation stories?
Yes.
When I realized that my sexuality was not going to change, and I recognized that it wasn't changing for anyone else.
And it just, it makes me sick that, transgender and, LGBTQIA plus is pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, it's your dad or your uncle or,
Don't behave like this group
Yes.
of people. And that group of people in Levitical law was mostly talking to the Levites, the priests of
Right.
Mixed fabrics itself was something that priests outside of the Levitical tradition wore.
Mm-hmm.
The pagan priests wore mixed fabrics. That's why it was an abomination.
Yes. None of these scriptures had anything to do with homosexuality.
Right.
None of them did. But the interesting thing to me about this is that there's nowhere in the Bible that it is said that the sin of Sodom was homosexuality. I love what you were saying, because when you look at historically, culturally, what was happening at the time, it was, quote unquote, an abomination to think that a man laying with a man would mean this man was emasculated. And that was like, whoa, that cannot happen. Men have to be men. And it was not about homosexuality.
Except for Jonathan and David, they're cool.
Yeah.
I believe in our society that we need more of is more dialogue, more actual dialogue, even when we don't agree with each other. We don't have to agree to love each other. And that's the whole point when you're talking about any spiritual tradition,
Right.
is loving each other. And so that's my biggest thing. If you want to be a good ally, use your voice. Learn about this stuff.
Nothing to do with homosexuality.
They didn't want to marry them?
Nothing, no.
Retreating for a few moments of focused prayer, we reset mind and heart in the essential truth of our spiritual nature. We anchor our attention in God, the source of all that is life-sustaining. We command the mind to be attentive, nervous system to be still, heart to be open, and spirit to be free. By the unifying power of divine love, we pray in oneness with God. I express the peace and love of my Christ Spirit. I am anchored in peace, secure in knowing that spiritual peace is possible regardless of my circumstances. As I focus on my Christ identity, I am empowered to express divine peace and love in any moment. In silence, I pray into peace. I seek the guidance of Spirit and I move forward confidently. The Spirit of wisdom is a constant stream of guidance I rely upon. As I turn inward to wisdom again and again, I grow in trust of my ever-ready sense of direction. I trust and I proceed in confidence.
I thought my German Shepherds were my only babies. But then, baby River was born. Wherever my baby goes, our dogs always follow her. If River goes on a hike, the dogs tag along. If she gets in a bath, the pups have to jump in too. They keep an eye on her like she's one of their own babies. And sometimes I think River believes she's one of them.
River! Wait! No! River, look at me. Go outside.
She even started behaving like a puppy. We have 7 German Shepherds with 7 unique personalities. And we thought if they don't get along, it will be a disaster. So we made sure to give them a proper introduction. We started off slow. My husband brought one of River's swaddles for the dogs to sniff, and the dogs were all over it. They were super curious about her smells.
Want to see the baby? Okay.
So when River came home, they were beyond excited to meet their little sister. They did a lot of sniffs, licks, and tail wagging, and in no time, they accepted her as one of their own. She loved to spoil her new doggo siblings with treats. And it's incredible to see how gentle she is with them, and they are with her. But out of the whole pack, River does have a favorite.
Can you lay down? What a good boy! What a good boy!
Roman and River are like 2 peas in a pod. He will follow her around the property, making sure she is safe. And if River ever wanders too far, he will herd her back to the house. He loves giving her kisses and making her laugh.
Can you go give us to Roman? Where's Roman?
And it's a friendship for the ages.
Say good boy, Kai Kai.
Some people think River will get sick if she lets the dogs lick her. Others think she will get bit. Our pups met River when she was just a baby, and it was a nervous moment. So we're always careful when she's around our dogs.
River, come. Kai Kai, come.
But if you show a dog love, they'll show you love back. And I could not be more comfortable with River and her furry friends.
Dear Dad, after all these years, I've never stopped writing. I still remember many of the letters I've written you, and the moments I wish you could have seen.
Dear Daddy, I'm sad you had to leave. But I'm trying real hard to remember that you told me you'll always love me and to write you all the time. I didn't want you to go, but you pulled me close and hugged me tight, and you said that some things are worth fighting for. Dear Daddy, I learned how to roller skate today. You'd be so proud. I fell down sometimes and skinned my knees, so I tried again and again. I was brave just like you.
Hey Dad, sorry I haven't written in a while. I'm 14 today, can you believe it? Don't worry though, no boyfriends. Mom and I are doing well. Sometimes we get lonely, but it's not too bad. Dear Dad, high school graduation. I really wish you were here today. College is just around the corner. I'm staying close to home though. I figured you'd want me to help keep an eye on Mom. Dear Dad, Today I married the man of my dreams. He reminds me of you. He's gentle yet strong. He loves serving me, and he can make me laugh all the time, just like you could. Granddaddy went ahead and walked me down the aisle, said that you'd be proud of me. It was a wonderful day seeing so many friends. We talked about you a lot and how we wished you were here. Oh, Daddy, I love coming to visit you. This time, I brought someone else. Your granddaughter. I tell her about you all the time. We talk about the letters I write you and that maybe she can write you too someday. Yesterday, she told me she'd love to meet you. So I pulled her close, hugged her tight, and told her about how some things in this world are worth fighting for, even dying for. Love always, your daughter.
Good morning to everyone. Welcome to Unity of Springfield on this holiday weekend. It's so good to see you all. If you would, let's just jump right into it. Let's stand up and let's do our first song, In My Life by the Beatles.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone and some remain. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends.
Thank you. If you let's give it up for John on the harpsichord there. That's a nice harpsichord work, John. Somebody practiced, I'll tell you that. If you would please join us in our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. We have a Denise Rosier song next. Everything is sacred. It builds, so just settle in. It's going to be fun.
Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder. Unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is filled with the divine. Everyone is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder. Unfolding right before our eyes. Everything
seated. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone that's here and everyone that is home watching us on live stream. We welcome each and every one of you. We're glad you are here. If there's anyone here for the first time today, or you've only been coming a short time, Linda Kittle is our ambassador. She just stood up, and she has a packet of information about Unity and a coffee mug for you. So if you'll stop by and see Linda, she would love to chat with you. Please check in on Facebook. Let everybody know you're here, and you're sorry they're not. And then if you would please silence or turn your phone completely off. The flowers this week are provided by Cat Bell in honor of all veterans. Please join me in the mission statement together. Our mission is to encourage and inspire spiritual and personal growth by empowering each other to be authentically all that we came here to be. Let's speak together the affirmation for today's daily word. Together, my loved ones and I share an eternal spiritual connection. Tomorrow is a day we honor and remember those who have given their lives in service to our country. It is also a day we honor and remember all of our loved ones who have transitioned through the veil of life. It is amazing how fresh my memories are of special people and the times we spent together. When I close my eyes, I picture relatives and friends whom I have not seen or been with in a long time. Remembering them brings back the sounds of my loved ones' voices or the familiar scent of their perfume or aftershave. I feel as if we are back together once again. Something more powerful than my mind and senses is involved in my remembering loved ones. The Spirit of God that unites us enhances my memories. I realize that neither time nor distance, circumstances nor conditions can break our spiritual connection. We are united by the Spirit of God that is our eternal nature. The scripture for today is 2 Timothy 1:3. Together, I am grateful to God, whom I worship with a clear conscience, as my ancestors did, when I remember you constantly in my prayers night and day. Let's repeat the affirmation together. My loved ones and I share an eternal spiritual connection. Last week I rang it. Today Sue's ringing the prayer bowl. Please hold the following people in prayer for their highest and good. The first one on the list is Jim Stiles, and we found out this morning Blaine was called while he was already here that Jim is in ICU at the present time. G, John, Amy, Beth, Steve, Darren, Julian, Sue, Pat, Carolyn, Sean, Mary, Jeannie Ann, Marlene, Sylvie, Crystal, Rusty, Stephanie, and anyone else who comes into your consciousness. Let us sing our thoughts or prayers. The words will be on the screen.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers, listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought
prayer bowl sends out sounds which are attuned to the heart chakra. Visualize your heart opening wide and sending butterflies of love. Feel the vibrations of the prayer bowl sending energy to awaken your awareness of the Christ Spirit within. Inhale deeply, hold, and exhale. Let us begin to relax in preparation for peaceful prayer and meditation for all people. Focus your attention on the crown of your head, relaxing as you follow down to your forehead, your eyes, your ears, relaxing as you follow it down your lips, tongue, and jaw. To release tension or tightness in your neck and shoulders, physically roll your neck and shoulders. Follow your relaxation as it flows down your arms, past your elbows, through your wrists, hands, and fingers. See relaxation taking place throughout your body as it moves down the spine and lower back. Relax your thighs, your knees and calves, your ankles, feet, and toes. Take another deep breath, hold, and exhale. We pray for the highest and best for all of us. The names placed on our prayer list, those present in the sanctuary, our online community. For all, we affirm healing of mind, body, and spirit, guidance to make right decisions, comfort and support for experiences we call less than favorable, appreciation for all experiences, knowing there is a lesson for our good, peace that surpasses all understanding, and love that nurtures, protects, and assures us we are worthy. For everyone on earth, we affirm respect with no judgments, health and wellness, safety and security, a flow of abundance in every area of our lives, loving relationships, first with oneself and with family and friends, and inner peace. Spiritual connection with Spirit, our angels and guides, with our family and friends, acquaintances, and all we encounter. We send out blessings to embrace our spiritual community, our city, our state, and our entire country, all nations, that the human spirit is respected. Inclusivity without question is assured. Attention to care for the environment is practiced by all. We visualize peace in our country and in all countries, and all governments, true peace on earth. We are so blessed, and we share with those near and far the warm, inclusive, welcoming energy we feel here in our sanctuary, with our online congregation and with our spiritual community. We know we are so blessed, and our gratitude is infinite as we say, thank you, God. We include those veterans who did not return and all of our loved ones who have made their transition. Something more powerful than our mind and senses is involved in remembering loved ones. The Spirit of God that unites us enhances our memories. Neither time nor distance, circumstances, or conditions can break our spiritual connection. We are united by the Spirit of God that is our eternal nature. In the silence, bring to mind the loved ones you would like to embrace in the silence.
Our first special song is a Carrie Newcomer song called Leaves Don't Drop, They Just Fall, They Just Let Go, and that is Ms. Baylor Cumberworth singing.
I learned the truth when I was 8. My dad swam the length of Spirit Lake, and it must have been 1,000,000 miles. This I know is true. My mother sang while hanging clothes. Her notes weren't perfect, heaven knows. Yeah, but heaven opened anyway. This I know is true. 'Cause leaves don't drop, they just let go and make a space for seeds to grow. And every season brings a change. A tree is what a seed contains. To die then live is life's refrain. I left her with some groceries. Said, check the oil, then call me, please. She said, hey, Ma, I'll be just fine. This I know was true. 'Cause leaves don't drop, they just let go and make a space for seeds to grow. And every season brings a change. A tree is what a seed contains. To die and live is life's refrain. I've traveled through my history, from certainty to mystery. God speaks in rhyme and paradox. This I know is true. And finally, when my life is through, I'm what I am, not what I do. 'Cause it comes down to you and your next breath. This I know is true. 'Cause leaves don't drop, they just let go and make a space for seeds to grow. And every season brings a change. A tree is what a seed contains. To die then live is life's refrain.
Thank you, Baylor and our band, and I love the Carrie Newcomer songs are so good. Thank you so much. Good morning. It's good to see everybody out here, and we made it through the storms last night. I evidently slept through the big crack. Did you guys all hear that? Like the big ginormous thunder? Woo-hoo. Yeah. So, there was, after dying in a car crash, 3 friends go to heaven for orientation, and they're all asked the same question. Some of you have heard this one before. When you're in your casket and friends or family are mourning over you, what would you like to hear them say about you? And the first guy immediately responds, I would like to hear them say that I was one of the great doctors of my time and a great family man. And the second guy says, I would like to hear them say I was a wonderful husband and school teacher who made a difference in the children of tomorrow. And the last guy thinks a minute and he replies, I'd like to hear them say, look, he's moving. We kind of would like that, wouldn't we? So tomorrow is Memorial Day, and it's a significant day in American history, and it's dedicated to honoring and remembering those who have given their lives in service to our country. It was originally known as Decoration Day. I remember that. It was changed in 1967 to Memorial Day, and in 1971, Memorial Day actually became a federal holiday. But to help us out here, there's a difference. Armed Forces Day is for those who currently wear the uniform. Veterans Day is for those who used to wear the uniform, and Memorial Day is for those who never made it out of the uniform. So in honoring this day, if you would like to join me for a minute, let's just close our eyes and send a blessing to all those who have given their lives in service to our freedom and their loved ones. We just say thank you. And so it is. So Ecclesiastes, well, first let me say this. Memorial Day has come to encompass a time when we remember all of our loved ones. In Ecclesiastes, it says, to everything there's a season, a time for every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, etc., etc. What we do know, how many of us know that life is in a constant state of change? Yes, we know that, right? And the most daunting change that we face is this that we call death. And the thing is that the thing that we resist the most, which is this idea of death or talking about death or the possibility of it, it's something that all of us are going to experience in our lifetime. Either a loved one who has crossed over, maybe a loved one of a loved one. We know just globally with all of the wars and the weather issues, and ultimately our own death. So one of the things that I always like to do when I talk about this on Memorial Day is first remind us about the practical things to do, because we are about practicality, right? Okay, so talk about it with your loved ones, even if it's uncomfortable. And for many people, it's going to be uncomfortable to talk about this, especially if you're a parent and you want to talk to your kids about it. They get a little, funny about it, but it's so important to have the conversation. We do our families no favors by not talking about it because they're uncomfortable. Do the practical things. Plan as much as you can plan. I love it when somebody has kind of pre-planned their celebration of life, that we already know what music they want, what readings they want, maybe what they would like to have in their service. But also make sure that you're doing the practical things. If you don't have a will, get online and create a will. Make sure that your things are payable on death or that you have beneficiaries on things. And I don't care how young or old you are, make sure that you do these things and do them now. I'm going to tell you the greatest gift that you give your family member is that everything is already in order when you pass, because I can tell you from personal experience that, when someone that you love passes, you're in such an emotional state that it's hard to know what the next thing is to do. So if your loved ones already have that already written out for you, what a gift that you give them. So make sure that you do those things. And grief. Grief is a normal and natural part of when we lose someone that we love. And I always say that we have to go through it to get through it. And yet grief is one of those things that we don't want to go through it, do we? Grief sucks. It's hard. It's very painful. It is. And yet, it is so important. Let the tears flow. Let yourself feel whatever it is that you need to feel. And here's the thing I really got too when I was going through that was that grief has a life of its own and I don't control it. And what I mean by that is there were many times that I thought I had turned a corner, many times that I thought, man, I'm good. And then boom, something would come up and just knock me down again. Grief takes whatever time it takes, but please honor because it is an important part of the journey. Okay, so that's the practical stuff. So what happens when we die? That's where I want to focus today. And the title for today is called Life After Life. And really my hope is that after I share what I'm going to share today, that for those of us who have had loved ones who have crossed over, that it will give us a sense of peace about what their experience is. I know even as I was going back over this, I would feel that sense of just like, oh, it makes me feel so good for what they're experiencing. So I hope that's what you're going to feel after this talk today. So what we're going to talk about today is near-death experiences and interactions with people from the other side. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to do this through 2 books. One is called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. How many people have read that book? It's a great book if you want to have more about near-death experience. And then The Afterlife of Billy Fingers, which is actually a book that came to me after my second husband passed away that really gave me a lot of peace about what he was experiencing. So, and here's the cool thing about this is that their experiences absolutely support what we teach here. And I love that so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be sharing excerpts from their books, and I'm going to stop every so often and talk about how this supports what we teach here. Now, Anita Moorjani had stage 4 cancer, and she had gone into the hospital. She went into a coma, and she was going to die. And she did have a near-death experience. And she, the book explains everything, but I'm going to share some excerpts today. But she came back from that experience. She was healed, number 1, of her cancer. And number 2, she came back with this message, which was what we teach: to be authentically who you were created to be, to not be afraid to be who you are, to step into your power. Billy Fingers died. Billy Fingers had a really rough life. Billy dealt with addiction most of his life. And in that there were a lot of decisions that made him bump and hit along the way, and he ended up dying in a car crash. And so he came through to his sister, who is Annie Kagan, who is the author of the book. So we're gonna start with Billy Fingers and what his experience was. So he says, the first thing that I experienced is bliss. It was like that in my case. I don't know if it's like that for everyone who dies. As the car hit me, this energy came and sucked me right up out of my body into a higher realm. I say higher since I had the feeling of rising up, and suddenly all of my pain was gone. He says, I wasn't aware of traveling at any particular speed. I just felt light and unburdened as this sucking motion drew me up inside a chamber of thick, silvery blue lights. Now, I held on to that chamber of thick, silvery blue lights, and I'll tell you why in a second. He said, people who have near-death experiences sometimes say they went through a tunnel. I'm using the word chamber because a tunnel has sides, but no matter what direction I looked, there was nothing but light as far as I could see. And I love this. He said, maybe the difference was I had a one-way ticket and theirs was round trip. And he says, I can't say how long I was floating up in the healing chamber, but I can say that chamber was some kind of cosmic birthing canal that delivered me into this new life. And even though I didn't have my body anymore, it felt like I did, and that it was being healed. The lights in the chamber penetrated me and made me feel better and better as they pulled me up. It wasn't just the wounds from my car accident that were being healed. In the first nanosecond that the lights touched me, they erased any harm I had suffered during my lifetime, mental, physical, emotional, or otherwise. Isn't that beautiful? That made me feel so good for all of my loved ones who have crossed over, knowing that no matter what their life experience was, and especially if it was a hard life experience, that in those moments, all of that was gone. All of that was gone. He said the main event was the silvery lights in their party atmosphere. Those healing lights had a festive feeling, like they were cheering me on, saying, welcome home, son. Oh, I just love that. Anita Moorjani said, the further outward I expanded, the less unusual it felt to be in this miraculous state. In fact, I had no awareness of it being out of the ordinary. It seemed all perfectly natural to me at the time. I felt a sense of freedom and liberation that I'd never experienced in my physical life before. I can only describe this as the combination of a sense of joy mixed with a generous sprinkling of jubilation and happiness. And what you're going to hear throughout this is that this experience is so expansive and so amazing, and it's filled with nothing but absolute love. A love that, again, is beyond our human comprehension. Billy says, even though I don't have my body anymore, I do still feel like an individual. So much for disappearing into a sea of bliss. Don't misunderstand me. I'm deep into the bliss experience, but I haven't disappeared. And Anita says, there I was, without my body or any of my physical traits, yet my pure essence continued to exist. And it was not a reduced element of my whole self. In fact, it felt far greater and more intense and expansive than my physical being. Magnificent, in fact. I felt eternal, as if I'd always existed and always would, without beginning or end. And I think that is so important for us to hear, because it's important that we recognize we exist beyond this physical realm, and our loved ones exist beyond this physical realm. How many of us here today have had experiences with our loved ones who have passed? Yeah, majority of hands going up here. That's because they still exist. And I want to say here, be open to the ways that your loved ones will connect with you, because there's many, many ways that our loved ones can connect with us. And, one of them that is talked about a lot is like with butterflies or with cardinals or dragonflies or things like that. And Suzanne Giesman, who is a medium, said it's not because they take the form of these things, because she says it wouldn't make sense that believing in evolution, that we would devolve into another creature, but she says it's that we can be in harmony with the energies, and so they can make things show up for us. And it's amazing. I know after Sean died, and I think I shared this, but I had some friends over to the house. We were sitting outside, and all of a sudden these dragonflies came, and they just started flying, but they were only above us. We looked both ways, and there were no dragonflies anywhere else, and there were just these dragonflies that were flying around, and we knew in that moment that was Sean's way of just saying that he was there. So be open. Try not to dismiss those things, because they're trying to connect with us. Okay, so Billy says, what is bliss? What is he talking about? And he said, bliss is like being in love multiplied by 1,000, but it has nothing to do with anyone else. That's because God or spirit or whatever you choose to call it is undeniable where I am. So whatever this is, we never try to tell you what to call this something, but there's definitely something that is here. Anita says, what I can only describe as superb and glorious unconditional love surrounded me, wrapping me tight as I continued to let go. The term unconditional love doesn't really do justice to the feeling, as these words have obviously been so overused. But she said the physical battle that she had fought for so long, because she had dealt with cancer for so long, had finally released. Her soul in that moment was finally realizing its true magnificence. And in doing so, she just felt that she continued to expand out even further and further and further. And I love this. She says, love, joy, ecstasy, and awe poured into me, through me, and engulfed me. I was swallowed up and enveloped in more love than I ever knew existed. I felt more free and alive than I ever had. The overwhelming sensations were in a realm of their own, and words don't exist to describe it. And that's what I always hear. People who have had near-death experiences cannot really describe it, because words don't do it justice. But that feeling of unconditional love. And isn't this what we talk about all the time? You can never be outside the realm of love, right? We talk about this all the time in Unity, that there is only one presence and one power, and you can use love or God, but that there is truly only one power, and it is that power of love. Billy Fingers says, as I drift through space, the light rays from the celestial bodies that sparkle all around me, well, those rays have a personality of their own sorts, qualities like wisdom, kindness, compassion, and intelligence. Sometimes I believe the light rays are actually the super thoughts of a supreme being. Other times I think they're the supreme being itself. This presence, the limitless light that fills the universe everywhere, its personality contains every good quality imaginable. Perfect wisdom, yes. Tender compassion, of course. All-encompassing love, definitely. Whatever qualities come under the heading of benevolence, that virtue is right there in the light. How many times have you heard me talk about the qualities of God? How many times? Hopefully a lot, because I've talked about it a lot, you guys. I'm not getting any feedback from you. Are you listening? I talk about that all the time, that if we could place qualities of God, these are the qualities. I mean, these experiences that people are having, this is exciting. They're saying what we're teaching is true. What we're teaching is real. They're having experiences of these things. This is exciting for us. Are you excited? Yeah, all right. The same intelligence that grows trees from seeds, that lets birds fly, that waves the ocean and gives birth to new stars, that same intelligence also breathes your breath, beats your heart, and heals your wounds. Like, take that in. You know, again, we talk all the time about how there is no separation, that we are one with whatever this is, and that it is actually breathing us. It is actually beating our hearts. Wow, that's an amazing thing. Anita says, I was filled with the knowledge that I was simply magnificent. How have I never noticed this about myself before? As I looked at the great tapestry that was the accumulation of my life up to that point, I was able to identify what had brought me to where I was today. Just look at my life path. And so this is, I think, is so important for us. Why, oh, why have I always been so harsh with myself? I want you just to think about this and think about how you look at yourself, how you treat yourself, if you really are recognizing the brilliance of who you have come here to be, the magnificence of the fact that you exist as an expression of this that we call God. Why was I always beating myself up? Why was I always forsaking myself? Why did I never stand up for myself and show the world the beauty of my own soul? Why was I always suppressing my own intelligence and creativity to please others? I betrayed myself every time I said yes when I meant no. I think we talked about that in class this morning. You know, anybody ever say yes when you really want to say no? No, never, yeah. Why have I violated myself by always needing to seek approval from others just to be myself? Why haven't I followed my own beautiful heart and spoken my own truth? Why don't we realize this when we're in our physical bodies? How come I never knew that we're not supposed to be so tough on ourselves? Did you know you're not supposed to be so tough on yourself? Do you walk around with that knowing that you are this magnificent being? Like, really, do we? Probably not. Because we get caught up in our days, right? And we get caught up in the stuff of life. And so if we're not remembering for ourselves that we are these magnificent beings, how can we possibly remember that for other people in our lives, right? It's so important that we start really leaning into this and remembering this for ourselves. She said, I still felt completely myself, enveloped in a sea of unconditional love and acceptance. I was able to look at myself with fresh eyes, and I saw that I was a beautiful being of the universe, and I understood that just the fact that I existed made me worthy of this tender regard rather than judgment. I didn't need to do anything specific. I deserved to be loved simply because I existed, nothing more and nothing less. And this is one of the things that makes us different. We are born into original blessing, my friends. Does this sound like you're born into original sin? Absolutely not. You're born into original blessing because you have come forth from this essence of love, and you are that love, and you are that magnificence. How amazing is that? You are worthy of the good that you seek because you are, period. You don't have to do anything. And here's what I want to say to you too, and remind us, is that no matter what we have ever said, done, or thought in our past, no matter what we ever say, think, or do, we will never be outside that realm of love. Ever. Ever. And I know that's hard, isn't it? Because we're good at beating ourselves up and thinking, but it's especially hard when we're looking at some other people in our lives. Yes? Like, are you sure? Yes. Yes. If we believe what we say every week, that there's only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives, then yes, that is absolutely true. Our job is to keep looking until we see it. We got to see it in ourselves first, though. I have to go back and listen to the tape. What am I repeating? It's not on my writing here. That was just. Hey, let's see how good you guys are listening. What was my last 4 words, huh? Sorry. Okay. Huh? Thank you. I'm not going to beat myself up. I'm good enough just as I am, right? Yes, lighten up. Billy says, if there's one thing worth doing on your planet, it's discovering self-love. He says, I say discovering instead of learning because learning implies you're starting from zero, but the truth is you already love yourself, you've simply forgotten. We've come into this life and we have amnesia, and we forget who we really are, but how important it is to really start living. And this is something that we teach all the time too. Billy says, believe me, everything you need is already inside you. Do I say that a lot? Thank you. You guys are going to say yes whether you remember it or not, but thank you. And who you really are is far beyond your comprehension. Earth is just a stopover. If I could give you a gift, it would be to teach you how to stay free inside that game, to find the glory inside yourself beyond the roles and the drama, so that you can dance the dance of the game of life with a little more rhythm, a little more abandon, a little more shaking those hips, and lightening up. That we need to lighten up. That's one of the important things. How many of us feel like we could lighten up a little bit more? Yeah. So you know what I'm going to say to you? Do it. And if you were in class this morning, and I know Stephanie reminded us last week, the things that you can be doing to lighten up can really make that difference in your life. And then this one, Billy says, people don't usually experience grace unless it hits them over the head with some big miracle. They aren't in tune with the constant little miracles weaving in and out of our lives every day. That's why so many spiritual paths promote the concept of gratitude, because it helps you notice the grace in your life. Thank you is a high message, possibly the most healing message of all. Thank you aligns with the grace that comes from the universe of the soul. And for those of us who practice gratitude, how has that changed our experience? It's amazing, isn't it? Because when you start practicing gratitude, when you start becoming grateful and really noticing the things in our lives, by virtue of just how it all works, you start noticing more and you start noticing more. And 2 things are happening there. One is that you finally expanded your vision, and those things were there to begin with. But also, as we practice gratitude, the law of attraction, right? There's more for us to be grateful for. So hi, calling. And then Anita says, our true magnificent exists right now. Again, one of her things was really the coming back, and her message was so strong about how important it is for us to be ourselves, to be true to who we are, to quit playing small, and to be able to and break free, I guess, of those areas in our life where we feel like we have to be somebody that we're not. And we have those areas, don't we? Yeah. So she says, we don't have to do anything, be anything, or prove anything to access what we're all connected to. We're all magnificent, powerful beings, and we all have access to it because we are one and the same. The only thing that can keep me from being aware of this energy is my mind, and that is my thoughts, particularly my self-limiting beliefs about myself. And then she says, go back and live your life fearlessly. What kept reverberating in my head, I knew that everything was going to be fine, but out of the many messages that I brought back from her near-death experience, we are all one, we are love at our core, we are magnificent, go back and live your life fearlessly, was the one that came through to her over and over and over again. So in closing, here's the lessons from today. Number 1, our loved ones are experiencing something far greater than you or I could possibly even begin to imagine. Does that not give you such a sense of peace? To know that, such a sense of just knowing that and I always say they're doing great. It's us who are left behind, right? that really have a hard time. Number 2, we do exist beyond this physical realm. Number 3, you can never be outside the realm of love. Why? Because there's only love. There's only love. Number 4, remember your magnificence and don't play small. Remember who you are and let that light shine. Wasn't that one of Jesus' main messages? Let your light shine so that others can see that they can let their light shine too. Number 5, remember that everything you need is already inside you. How do you access that? Quieting the mind, right? Number 6, remember the power of gratitude in your life. And number 7, and the last one, is be you-tiful. Be you-tiful. Be beautiful you. And I say to you, namaste, namaste. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So here you go, John. Stole your seat.
Oh, that's fine.
As our band is coming forward and our ushers are coming forward, and we have this wonderful opportunity to be in support of Unity of Springfield financially, I'm going to invite you to take your gifts in your hands, or the energy of your gifts, and let's bless them with our gift blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And thank you, God.
Once again, I give you Ms. Baylor Cumberworth singing I Will Remember You.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Remember the good times that we had. We let them slip away from us when things got bad. Clearly I first saw you smiling in the sun. Wanna feel your warmth upon me. I wanna be the one. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I'm so tired, but I can't sleep. Standing on the edge of something much too deep. Funny how I feel so much, but I cannot say a word. We are screaming inside, oh, but we can't be heard. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. So afraid to love you, but more afraid to lose. Clinging to a path that doesn't let me choose. Once there was a darkness, deep and endless night. You gave me everything you had. that, oh, you gave me light, and I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your life pass you by. Weep not for the memories. Weep not for the memories.
Thank you, Baylor. All right, time for announcements. So meditation is tonight at 6 p.m. and it is open to everyone. The church office will be closed tomorrow, May 27th, for Memorial Day. Chair yoga has returned at Thursday at 9 a.m. It's a gentle combination of stretching, exercise, and yoga. Everyone is welcome. The cost is $8. Next Sunday at 9:15 in the New Thought and World Religion class, James Masters and Bobby Delmar will present the third and final part of their series on the book Belong. Our volunteer appreciation luncheon is this Saturday, June the 1st at 11:30 a.m. Today is the last day to RSVP. Please do so. We have to get our final numbers to the caterers tomorrow. And we would love to see everyone there. You can sign up in the foyer or on the website. The men's group and potluck is the first Tuesday each month at 6 p.m. Their next meeting is June 4th. So please bring a dish to share, and all men are welcome. We are participating in the Ozarks Pride Fest on June 8th from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. If you would like to walk in the parade or help at the booth, sign up once again in, you know it, the foyer. In preparation for Pride Fest, there will be a movie night on May 31st at 5 p.m. in Fellowship Hall to make buttons and to attach affirmations to candy. If you can't be here right at 5 p.m., please still just come when you can. We are also accepting candy donations or money donations to purchase candy. No circus peanuts, Richard. He knows. For our May Earth Care, we are accepting donations to purchase indoor and outdoor recycling containers. So far, we have 120 of our $560 goal. As part of this fundraising effort, we are selling raffle tickets for a custom portrait of your pet. You can donate the money or purchase raffle tickets in the foyer. And today is the second Sunday for our One Item Every Person Every Sunday Feeds Mini campaign to keep our community cupboard stocked. The longer we do this, the more it will become a habit to bring a food item to church with you every Sunday. Please don't think that your one item will make a difference. It absolutely will. And once again, to reiterate our church bylaws, if you bring canned beets, you will not be allowed back. Kat, I believe you have an announcement.
Okay, sorry. I appreciate you guys letting me take a little bit of your time today. I'm here to talk about our amazing media team that I've been blessed to be a part of for the past 4 years. So I know we've been through so many systems. Mitch, can I get an amen on that?
Yeah, hallelujah.
And so we want to make it clear that if you use a computer at your job, you can help us on the live stream team. That's kind of the bottom line. Also, our PowerPoint team, we need help. Even if it's one Sunday, if it's bi-monthly Sunday, whatever you can give, we are willing to hold your hand, to train you, to spot by you. We need your help. Amy, I need you to come up here for just a moment. And no, I didn't tell you that, so surprise. Come up here, please. Just leave it on the camera, it's okay. We can have two of us gone. So, Mitch, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for the live stream team. I know we don't talk a lot about it other than you picking on me all the time.
Well, that's what I do
guys,
best.
Mitch and Amy have really been the rock of this ministry. And today, in honor of their support, it's got to go to Amy because she's the female.
Howard.
Amy, I would like to give you these flowers because I love you, and you have been a rock for us. So, hang on. Anyways, thank you. Sorry. So this is just a picture of what it looks like. Don't let it scare you. It's my OCD on drawings. So you see the board on the right hand where there's 5 numbers. We basically have like our 5 cameras set up. You're basically playing like old Atari, pressing buttons, going back and forth. It's really not that challenging. So I just kind of wanted to give you a picture to kind of help you have an idea. If you have questions, message me or Amy. We're happy to help you. So here's the emotional part for me. Sue, I don't think your message could have been any more spot on today. I think it's impossible to sit in our church and not take what Sue is saying, what we're teaching, and apply it. Do you agree? And so I've done the live stream team for 179 weeks, and I will be resigning as of August 4th to step down for what is a massive calling and mission and change that is about to happen in my life. So I wanted to thank everyone publicly. This is very emotional because this is something I'm passionate for and that I love dearly. And it would have to be huge to get me to come from behind the streaming deck, as a lot of people know here. So I made a quick video because I would cry, I would not get through it. And I want to share with you how the principles can change your life. Just ask people around us, ask people in the group, share in the connection group about what the 5 principles does for your life. Because I'm telling you guys, you have seen me in 7 years come from a person that didn't believe anything about myself to accepting my sexuality, to saying, okay, I don't want to be a bystander, I want to be an upstander. Everybody agree? We're living in times where we have to stand up. We need to speak the truth. And so, without further ado, thank you for letting me share this. It really means a lot to me. Sue asked me to share it, and so roll the tape, please.
That's right.
And now I feel like it's my time in my life to completely live to my fullest potential. Principle number 5, I act. So I am excited to share with you that as of this fall, 2024, I have been accepted and will be attending the prestigious, the Citadel Military College in Charleston, South Carolina, getting my master's in military history. Now here's the exciting part, folks. Before I even decided to do all this, I interviewed several of the people on the staff for the thesis that I have to do at the end of my master's. And I'm really excited to share that it's been approved and passed that I will be allowed to do my thesis on the LGBTQ of the Holocaust. Really, really excited. After that, I will be working on my PhD in Europe in 2027 to get my doctorate in anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. My plan is to write a few books on the LGBTQ of the Holocaust, and the universe only knows what happens from there as I teach college history.
Afraid that things like this can be repeated. We're living in a terrible, dangerous world right now. And this is why we have to teach and teach and teach over and over again. Because I absolutely am afraid that things like this can be repeated.
Thank you, Kat. We're all very excited for you and very, very supportive. We know you're going to do fantastically. If you would please restand and join us in our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Please join us for the peace song. Happy Memorial Day. We'll see you next week.